Okay, so we've all been sitting down for a long time, right? Movements. Any kind of movement you do with children in circle time is incredibly important. So let's all stand up right where we are. You all know head, shoulders, knees, and toes, right? And you all know if you're happy and you know it? I'm not going to do those because you already know those. There's so many games you can play standing up. I like to get everybody jumping up, get the kids jumping up and down. And you use what's called the power of suggestion. Whatever you, in a song, if you say jump up and down, everybody just starts doing it. You're teaching them to do that kind of stuff. Let's see, what are we going to do? Oh, it's good to stand up, isn't it? You ever played the game called Do What I Say, But Not What I Do? Simon Says? This is not Simon Says. This is Do What I Say, but not what I do. Okay? And I'll tell them, I'm going to trick you. I'm good at tricking children. I can make you do something really silly. Put your finger on your nose. This is a great way to tell who is a visual learner and who's an auditory learner. This is a test. Put your finger on your knee. Put your finger on the floor. There's no floor up there. And put your finger on your elbow. Okay? And this is, okay, you can sit back down. This is the kind of thing I've had so much fun with that, not just with little kids, but even elementary age kids. It really shows you who's an auditory learner and who's a visual learner. It's pretty simple, and there are lots of kids who are copiers. They just copy whatever you say. How about I'm a little teapot? Is everybody know I'm a little teapot? Mm-hmm. Do you know all 3 verses? Oh, can we stand back up? This is a copywritten song, so I don't have this recorded, so you're going to have to remember this. First you put your right hand on your hip. What did I do wrong?
It's your left hand, that's your left.
Yeah, but you're mirror imaging me. So for you, as a child over there, you're going to copy me by doing the right hand. So I do it opposite. Just so you know why I'm doing it wrong. I just wanted to include in on that. So first you put your right hand on your hip. That is a handle that you can tip. Then you make your left hand into a spout and tip me over and pour me out. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. And when I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Tip me over and pour me out. I'm a very clever pot, it's true. And here's a little trick that I can do. I can change my handle and my spout, switch them, and tip me over and pour me out. Now, if you're the kind of person that likes to be silly, you get to do this next verse. Hands at your side. Some people don't like to do this one. I'm a silly teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my handle. I messed it up. Let's try it again. I'm a silly teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my handle. Wait a minute, I'm not a teapot, I'm a sugar bowl. There you go. So sometimes, kids will do that. Sometimes teachers won't do it. Some people have a very serious nature and they're not allowed to do something silly like that with kids. But if you do, it shows them you're human. It shows them that you understand how to be a kid still. Keep the child alive in you. Unless, of course, your job as the director and you have to do all the serious stuff and let the other teachers do it. Somebody needs to be that person for them. Teach them how to play. Children are not playing anymore outside like they used to. The doctors have collected statistics about broken arms and broken legs, and they're figuring kids don't climb trees anymore or ride bicycles compared to the way they did, say, 20 years ago and 40 years ago and so on. When kids used to be outside all the time, now they're inside doing computers and video games and television and things that are organized play. And so they're not just playing freely, and they need to learn how to play. And there's only one place left, school. That's where they have to learn everything. Okay, so we've done some movement stuff. I want to get into some clapping rhythm stuff. Hands, right? Once again, you're at circle, do something with your hands. So in your circle time, and I have this list on the back of my book. I'll just read the whole list. Singing, poems, stories, clapping games, finger plays, musical games, acting songs, puppets, rhythm instruments, nursery rhymes, line games, show and tell, pass around, circle games, xylophone games, and parachute games. We're not going to do any parachute games today because there's not enough room to do it, but those are all different things that you could do in a circle every day. You could have one little thing here and have it be so that it's a half hour long, 40 minutes long. You can have a 40-minute long circle. Anybody do them that long? You have to have a lot of things to do to have a 40-minute long circle. You have to have a repertoire, and it's, I mean, I've done this for so long that I do, but that's why I'm doing this workshop. So clapping games. This is a Russian clapping game, and they love this because it changes speeds. And it's also syllable related, so you're learning to clap the syllables of the words. Clapping, clapping, softly, clap. Clapping, clapping, clap, clap, clap. Roll them over, roll them so. Now get ready, faster we go. Clapping, clapping, softly, clap, clapping, clapping, clap, clap, clap. Roll them over, roll them so. Now get ready, faster we go. Clapping, clapping, softly, clap, clapping, clapping, clap, clap, clap. Fast enough? Kids will say, no, do it faster, because they get all excited. You can teach clapping patterns just with tapping or clapping, both. So it's 1, 2. You're doing it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. You can teach other patterns. You can do 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's lots of those. All right. So you can just play with that. Just they love tapping on their knees. You can do that with clapping as well. Here's another clapping game. I'm not sure where this one. I think it's an American clapping game. And this is lots of different things you can do with your hands. Clapping. Oh wait, that's the same one. Click, click to the next file. Hold on a second. I have a chip. Clap, clap, clap your hands. Clap your hands together. Clap, clap, clap your hands. Let's clap for sunny weather. Rub, rub, rub your hands. Rub your hands together. Rub, rub, rub your hands. Let's rub for icy weather. Shake, shake, shake your hands. Shake your hands together. Shake, shake, shake your hands. Let's shake for sunny weather. And there's more things you can do. You can tap your hands. You can wave your hands. And when it's really cold outside, did everybody teach their kids to rub their hands together? Okay. Everybody have cold hands right now? Anybody? Don't tell me if you do. Just rub your hands really fast. Keep going. Keep going. Faster. Harder. Touch your face. You feel any heat? You create heat when you rub your hands together. You rub the backs of your hands when they're cold. Bring circulation to them. Just, it's good. It's a good way to get your hands warm. All right. So that's a couple of clapping games are varied. Some of them are poems. So this is a little poem called "Everybody's Got to Grow." Everybody's got to grow. Bumblebees and buffalo. From the tip of your nose to your big fat toe. Everybody's got to grow. You take a little seed, small and round, not very big, but you put it in the ground. Turn on the sun, heat up the snow. Everybody's got to grow. You all know the Little Turtle. Anybody? Nicholas Vachel Lindsay wrote all these really cool poems back in the 1800s. He was a traveling storyteller, poet, who lived on somebody's farm for a month working and wrote all these poems. And you can't make a living being a poet, right, or a storyteller, especially in the 1800s. So that's what he did. And some of them became really famous. I remember in 5th grade we tried to learn as a class to recite the one called the Potatoes Dance. And we couldn't do it. The whole year the teacher tried, and it was just too crazy of a song, of a poem. But this one's a lot easier. There was a little turtle, lived in a box, swam in the puddle, climbed on the rocks. He snapped at a mosquito, he snapped at a flea, he snapped at a minnow, he snapped at me. He caught the mosquito, he caught the flea, he caught the minnow, but he didn't catch me. Anybody know that one now? How many of you already knew it? You just didn't know what I was talking about. Some people do she, you don't have to do he. Feel free to change it. Nicholas Vachel Lindsay would not mind one bit. He's dead and gone for a long time, so he won't care. The counting rhymes have some claps. Anybody do the 5 little hot dogs cooking in the pan? I just did this yesterday with a bunch of kids, and they just love this. Okay, everybody get a pretend frying pan. Okay, get it on the fire, start cooking. Okay, the pan's hot. Okay, let's put 5 hot dogs in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 little hot dogs cooking in the pan. One got hot and it went in. 4 little hot dogs cooking in the pan. One got hot and it went pan. 3 little hot dogs cooking in the pan. One got hot and it went pan. 2 little hot dogs cooking in the pan. One got hot and it went pan. 1 little hot dog cooking in the pan. It got hot and it went pan. No little hot dogs cooking in the pan. The pan got hot and it went pan. They love that kind of stuff. 5 Little Monkeys, I'm sure you're already doing that, right? Teasing Mr. Alligator? Some kid said to me yesterday, that's not the way it goes, it's jumping on the bed. Because I always learned 5 little children jumping on the bed. One fell off and bonked his head. Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, no more children jumping on the bed, except for the last verses, that's what you get for jumping on the bed. Anybody learned it that way? After 5 kids didn't learn, the last one, that's what you get for jumping on the bed. So the 5 little monkeys swinging in a tree, teasing Mr. Alligator, can't catch me. And then the one comes, Mr. Alligator, snap! They like that. Another one's really cool. I learned this from a preschool teacher about 30 years ago or 25 years ago. It's to the tune of Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf? Anybody know that song? Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf? Okay, and there's 2 parts. There's a fast part and a slow part. Show me 3. 3 little birdies singing in the tree, singing in the tree, singing in the tree. 3 little birdies singing in the tree, laughing at Cecil. Hands up like this. He. Along comes Cecil, quiet as can be, quiet as can be, quiet as can be. Along comes Cecil, quiet as can be. 2 little birdies and so on. So, yeah, I like it because it has the 2 speeds. And what's Cecil? They want to know what a serpent is. They don't know what a serpent is. They've heard of snakes, but what's a serpent? It's a kind of snake, right? And so it's, these are just, there's so many of these. Anybody have one they want to share that has a clapping part? This is a workshop, not a lecture. Your turn.
I heard an alphabet one that has clapping in the middle of it. It's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
You call it Z?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
So you do that, and then you put Mary Had a Little Lamb after that, and clap at the breaks.
Well, what you're talking about there's a song called the Mother Goose ABC. It's probably the same song that's been altered to add to a clap. Does anybody know that? Where you put all the nursery rhymes into ABCs? Oh, okay. I'm going to play that for you. Because it's a fun one. You get tired of singing the same old ABC song, don't you? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Somebody call out a nursery rhyme, see if I know it. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1, down he run. Hickory dickory dock. Anybody else?
3 Little Pigs.
Which one?
3 Little Pigs.
The 3 Little Pigs. That's a nursery rhyme. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Here's one of my favorites. Hickory dickory dare, the pig flew up in the air, and Farmer Brown brought him down. Hickory dickory dare. Come on, somebody give me their favorite.
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown. Jill came tumbling after. Come on, join in now. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. I love the clap in there. I never do it that way, but that's a great thing to do. Have that little fast 2/8 notes or whatever they are. That's very cool. So there's a song you can. That'll stick in your head. I learned it from my nieces a long time ago. We were on a long car trip. They were in the back seat, and they started singing it, and they never stopped for like an hour. They did every nursery rhyme. And I said, "That's really cool. Where'd you learn that?" "We learned it at camp." You know, and I said, "Oh, that's really neat." And I've been singing it ever since. And it's, kids love it because it's okay. You've been in preschool for 1 year, 2 years, and all you've sung is the regular ABC song. You get a little sick of it. I mean, you can tell they have facial expressions that'll tell you, oh, not that again. They even do it to me. I mean, they've heard it before, they don't want it. Some kids like repetition, some don't. But that's a great little clapping song. Anybody else have a clapping song? Yeah?
I have the Days of the Week, that's Adam's Family.
The Adams Family? Go ahead, how's it go?
Days of the Week, Days of the Week, Days of the Week, Days of the Week, Days of the Week. There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's Wednesday, there's Thursday and there's Friday, and then there's Saturday. Days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week.
That's great. That is just great. That's a fun one. See, I've never heard that before. But this is what preschool teachers do. They get tired of doing the same thing, so they just create something like that, and then you have a workshop like this, and you share them, and the next thing you know, everybody's doing it. And then you go to the workshop and go, oh, we already know that one. What else do you have? And that's what happens. I mean, we spread them to each other by just sharing them. I hope there's somebody in this room that someday will do a workshop of everything they've learned. Some of you have been teaching for a long time, and you have a lot of stuff. Just people love it if you share it. All right, ready to move on to something else? Puppets. A preschool teacher without a puppet is like a carpenter without a hammer. It's a tool. It's a friend. It's an ally. It's another staff member. It's the one thing that they'll respond to when nothing else works. Okay? And not every puppet suits every person. So I would look at the puppets out there and go, oh, there's some great puppets out here. And I've learned to make any puppet work. But a teacher needs to find one that suits them. It's a rabbit, or it's a squirrel, or it's a fox, or whatever it is that you can somehow relate to as a creature you like. Now, I like turtles. And first daycare conference I ever went to as a teacher, this is like 30-some years ago, I bought this one. And I've been using them ever since. Turtle, come on, there's people here that want to meet you. Come on, don't be shy. There's some people here. I know it's wintertime and it's cold. Come on. There's some people here. What are you doing? You going to come out? Are you trying to scratch in there? Come on. This is my pal Turtle. I'm a singing turtle. You can sing? I can. You want to sing with everybody? Okay. Will you sing with me? Yeah. Sing what I sing. Sing what I sing. I like apples. I like apples. I like bananas. I like bananas. I like celery. I like celery. I like worms. I like worms. They never say that. They always go, ew. The turtle goes, ew, and then he goes in his shell. Anybody ever heard of Malvina Reynolds? She wrote some wonderful songs. Same time Woody Guthrie was writing. One's called You Can't Make a Turtle Come Out. You can't make a turtle come out. You can clap right there if you want this. I don't usually do that. You can't make a turtle come out. You can coax him or call him or shake him or shout, but you can't make a turtle come out. Come out. You can't make a turtle come out. I came out. So, I mean, this guy's even starting to get worn out or split. I'm going to have to take him in and sew him up a little bit, but they become your ally, and children respond to puppets in a really interesting way. First of all, there's an illusion that's happening. You, as the teacher, bring the puppet to life through your actions. What you do and how you treat the puppet and talk to the puppet creates the illusion. So when I was messing around here and talking to him, and he came out, a child thinks they're alive. And they'll even ask, is that real? Because they don't know the difference between fantasy and reality. It's all real to them until they get to be about 5. Maybe even 4-year-olds will say, we saw you put your hand in there. You were the one that was talking. And for years, I never knew what to say, really, until just recently. I was working with Tears of Joy Puppet Theater, and they said, well, you just ask them, well, we're using our imaginations. Does your imagination still work? You have to imagine that they're real. And to give a puppet a voice, you have to let the puppet talk. You can't make it talk. That's Sherry Lewis right there. She said that. You can't make a puppet talk. You have to let it talk. So if you buy a puppet, you've got to stand in front of the mirror in the bathroom with it and play with it and experiment with it and let it have a voice. You don't know what it's going to say. It's almost like your alter ego comes out of it, or some subconscious thing. The puppet will, that voice will come out of you. It's still you, and you have to change the quality of your voice to give it a voice in terms of vocally, which means sometimes maybe gritting your teeth while you're talking, or put your tongue on the side, or you have to find a way to give it a voice, a character voice, in the sense, not what it's going to say, but how it talks, just by changing the way your mouth is shaped. But it's so much fun. I have just a blast. In fact, I think kids like puppets better than music sometimes, because they don't get enough of it. Television used to be all puppets. When I was a kid, it was all puppet stuff. It was cartoons, but it was mostly puppets. It wasn't. Now it's all animation. And Sesame Street's still there, but it's not quite the same. Kids love puppets. So where do you get a good puppet? Folk Manus. This is actually a Folk Manus puppet, one of the original ones they made. Turtles, you better go back in and bye-bye. I go to thrift stores, and I look for puppets. And I go to garage sales, and I look for puppets. And sometimes I get frustrated, and I say, oh, I'm just going to buy a stuffed animal. And so I buy a stuffed animal, and I make it into a puppet. This is one of my more recent creations. Come on out. Come on, sheep. What's the matter? Come on. Come out. Oh. Bah. Bah. Now this puppet, the turtle has kind of a mouth, but this one doesn't really have a moving mouth. Okay? But with the really little ones who might be afraid of your puppet, you don't want a mouth on your puppet. You want it to have just a face. And it to be some kind of non-threatening animal. I have an alligator puppet when I want the threatening ones. It has teeth. I don't know if you saw it out there. That's a scary puppet. But in order for them to get used to it, it has to be something they can love and they want to hug it. But you bring it to life. So I paid $1 for this. And what I did, I'll show you, is I cut open the seam in the back. They all have seams. And I took a pant leg off of sweatpants. The elastic bottom of the pant. And I cut that off, and I pushed it all the way in there and sewed it inside. And sewed the elastic part right there. And my hand fits inside there, and I've got a puppet. Total cost, $1. Or $2, maybe you have to buy the sweatpants. And so you can make your own. There's a stuffed animal that you like, and they sell them for $1, and people give them away. It's like there's millions of stuffed animals. I found a snowman that I made into a puppet. I also found a donkey that I've made, as well as buying regular puppets. But the bigger puppets are really fun like this. This is a nice size for a puppet. And this size puppet, Folk Manus, would be $50. So your choice. You want to spend $50, or you want to make one. It takes a little time. Everybody here knows how to sew, right? Just like you know how to sing. It's something you can do. So there's sheep, and there's a lot. You can have a lot of. Do I have anybody else? Oh wait a minute! I have another puppet. I have my stage puppet.
What does the sheep sound like?
Oh, didn't I do a bah? I thought I did a bah. It doesn't actually talk.
Oh, it's just.
No, I've never given it a voice. I just let it go. Bah, bah. It doesn't talk yet. It hasn't reached that point where it's a character as much as it's just something to hug. Yeah?
With the older kids, when they ask you, oh, you're doing it or whatever, do you let them take charge of the puppet, or is it always you?
Very good question. It's a good idea to have puppets in the school that they get to use,
Right.
but you don't want them to use your puppet because that's part of the illusion. If you let them play with it and it's just a stuffed animal,
Yes.
it loses its illusion. It becomes just another toy that
So you
people
keep
play
it
with.
somewhere, like hidden away, or
You keep it in a box, keep it in a drawer, keep it in a closet. There was a man I was talking to out there that's a teacher. He has a suitcase where he keeps his puppets. And when he comes to Circle, he brings the suitcase. And yeah, so you just, and they have different things in it. It doesn't have to be a puppet in the suitcase. You can have other things, but you can, bring something. That's the illusion. It's in something, it's coming out, and it's going back in, and you can't have it. And so it's not a toy, and it's your tool. And, a puppet can say things to children, and they'll hear it when they won't hear you. Let's say you have a problem with biting. It's a horrible thing that happens once in a blue when you get kids that bite each other. Well, if the puppet tells them to stop biting, they're going to listen to the puppet because they're infatuated. Oh, look at this cool puppet. There it is. Stop biting. Uh-oh. You got a voice now, right? So, the purpose of it is to communicate an idea to children. If you use the words stop and no and don't, those 3 words, and pretty soon they decide to cut those off. They block those out. When you say don't, they don't hear it anymore because you've said it too much. But if the puppet gives them instruction, then they'll hear it, because it's a different voice. It's not you. It's not the authority figure, it's the animal it's saying. And looking into storytelling is another thing. You can do the same kind of thing with storytelling, where you tell a story about some animals that are having the same problem the children are having. Let's say everybody's kicking each other out in the playground or throwing stuff at each other, and the animals do it in the story. And then how do they create their solution? There's a solution, and they get to the resolve, and then the kids figure that that's the way they do it too. We'll get further into that. I want to show you Billy Bear, because Billy Bear is my sidekick, so to speak. He's a puppet that I use in my children's concerts. And he's got a real character. I mean, he's been doing this for a long time. He wants to come out. Billy Bear, wake up. Come on, you're in your sleeping bag. Wake up. What are you doing? Come on out of there. Peekaboo. No, we're not playing peekaboo. No, come on out of there. I see you. Get out of there. Good night. It's not nighttime. Now get out of the bag, you rascal. Gee willikers. This is my pal Billy Bear. He's a Kodiak bear all the way from Alaska. And I'm hungry. Well, what are you hungry for? I want to eat a sock sandwich. You can't eat a sock sandwich. Oh, yes, you can if you put some Tasty Toes in it. You better not eat anybody's toes. Here, have a cookie. What does that taste like? Fish. Cookies don't taste like fish. Here, try a piece of pizza. What does that taste like? Fish. It does not. Here, try some candy. What does that taste like? Fish. You are one mixed up bear. It's time to play a game with everybody. Okay. Say what I say.
Say what I say.
Say it louder.
Say it louder.
Say it softer.
Say it softer.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Cookies.
Cookies.
Pizza.
Pizza.
What are you looking at me for? I taught you more words than that. Say macaroni. They'll say it back to you. Go ahead. Rackamoni. No, it's not rackamoni. It's macaroni. Try it again. Try it again. No. Say donut. No dut. No, he's all mixed up. Say lollipop. Pollywop. Oh, no. So is he coming to life for you?
Yeah.
And that's the game. Now, here's a puppet that has a mouth, and I fed him. If you feed your puppets, pretend feeding, of course, then the children will not be as afraid of them as if you don't feed them. It's one of the first things you do with a puppet is feed it. Okay? Because otherwise they're afraid it's going to bite them. They see you putting your hand in their mouth, and then they don't see any teeth. They get less afraid. Because I've had kids jump backwards and get really frightened by a puppet. Because they think it's real and it's alive and it's going to hurt them. And, you know, think of all the animal books and animal movies you watch, and all of a sudden you bring out a lion puppet and they just run. You know, you can actually frighten children with a puppet. So if you have one with a mouth, feed it. I like eating fish. I know that. That's it. That's all you get. That's all the time. Not fair. Back in the bag, you rascal. So that's a little sample of what he does. There are other kinds of puppets besides hand puppets. There's marionettes. Everybody seen marionettes in there? Okay. There's